and all the work that the Kauffman Foundation does to advance entrepreneurship, one of the things that jumps out as an obvious connection is mentors are critical to the success of growing companies. Entrepreneurs that are working out there to start something new often rely on someone or someones to help them along the process over critical junctures or with specific help. It's a big motivation why we recently partnered with a startup company here in Kansas City called RareWire to build a mobile application called BrainPickr, really intended to help facilitate mentors and mentees getting together on an as-needed ad hoc basis for help at that critical moment. I'm Thom Ruhe, and this is Top of Mind. I'm here today with co-founder and CEO of RareWire, Kirk Hasenzahl. Kirk, thanks so much for being here today on Top of Mind.
I appreciate you having me.
You know, I'm very excited to share with Top of Mind viewers, today's episode because it's on a topic that's near and dear to my heart, and that's mentoring, something that I've spoken on Top of Mind episodes before. And before we get into kind of the nuts and bolts of, the BrainPickr app that we're going to talk about, you yourself are an entrepreneur. And you're building a great company, and it dawns on me that you probably have a pretty specific perspective on mentoring. Would you share with the viewers on what that's been like for you as it relates to building out RareWire?
It's a critical component, I think, of having success in starting a company and being an entrepreneur. And I would tell you that I don't have one; I have dozens and dozens of mentors. I learned early on that I can't do it all. And so a big part of my strategy is trying to get other successful people and smarter people than me involved in our company. And so to that end, kind of mixed with the good nature of Kansas City and the good fortune of having a resource like Kauffman in town has enabled us to network incredibly with some very smart people and that have that good Midwestern mentality that like helping others. And so I talked to certain guys that helped me with accounting and strategy and finance, and I talked to others about product development, although we have some pretty sharp guys that work for us that do that. Others on sales, others about how to grow the company, and on and on and on, everything, all the pain points that come with starting a company. So it's critical to having success.
I think a lot of people think of mentoring, they see it as kind of it's an external thing that a founder does, right? But I've been in organizations, and I wonder if this is true in your own experience, where there's also kind of peer-to-peer mentoring that can happen internal to the organization, where employees can mentor each other in certain capacities. Do you sense that that's a factor as well? Even if it relates to RareWire or other company experiences you've had.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one of the things I was just talking to someone about this yesterday that comes with starting a company is it creates opportunities for the people involved in that company to grow and expand their resume, so to speak, and to take on new challenges and roles that maybe they've never had the opportunity to do before. So I was never a CEO before I started this company. Some of the guys that we hired, I like to say that we hire rock stars at our company. We're very selective on who we hire, but I also like to find guys that have big ambitions but haven't had the opportunity. And so to that end, they come in and maybe now get to run a team where they never ran a team before. And so, they're always needing mentorship and guidance from other people that maybe work there that have done that. And so, it's a very much a team effort.
So would it be a fair, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but would it be a fair assessment to say that mentoring is a key and important aspect of growing and building a successful company?
It's critical. It's not key, it's critical. I haven't met the guy out there that knows it all. I mean, you have to have those resources to solve all the problems and accomplish what you want when you're starting a company.
Well, now I'm going to confess, right? That was just a big blatant setup question to transition to why it is, we looked at BrainPickr as a certain solution. Certainly at the Kauffman Foundation, mentoring, we see it as a key component, a critical component, as you've said. And it really was the motivation behind getting together and putting our brains together on BrainPickr. Since you are kind of our partner architect of this, product, can you share with us a little bit of like what it's been like, how we went about evolving the product together, and what it's been like getting it to this point of launch?
Sure. So from day one, we were excited about the idea that you brought us. I think it has huge potential, and being that entrepreneur, I can see the value of it. When you combine the need for mentorship with the new technologies that are out there in mobile devices and social media and things like that, it was a natural fit and an idea that we were excited to be a part of. As far as constructing the app, we worked a lot with your team to try to figure out how to optimize it and create an experience that keeps it simple, but it becomes a great resource for that entrepreneur. The way when I tell other people about it, I like to describe it as it's like LinkedIn for entrepreneurs. It's a social network specifically targeted to mentors and entrepreneurs, and giving those entrepreneurs the ability to access resources that maybe they couldn't access before.
It's funny when we were going through the structure of like how we were going to do this. Mentoring it's a tricky subject.
Sure.
As you may recall, I think I mentioned it first at a 1 million cups, where we did a survey, like show of hands, how many people here would want to serve as a mentor, and you see a lot of hands go up because intuitively people want to be helpful, but there's also some finesse required, right? Because not everybody that is willing to be a mentor should be a mentor.
Sure.
If I'm being quite honest. As I recall, we took some measures and care in building the app so that we could help filter that a little bit.
Absolutely. The way it's constructed right now, Kauffman is the one that provides the mentors, but the app itself is open to any and all of the world of entrepreneurs. So anyone can sign up, and there's two different kind of accounts that can be created in this social entrepreneur app, so to speak, this mentoring app, where you can sign up as an entrepreneur and ask questions and network with the host of mentors that will be provided by you guys, by Kauffman. And so it gives you a little bit of control, but it also gives you the ability to get some rock stars on there, I'm hoping, as we launch this thing,
We're hoping as well.
Yeah, to get access to some incredible people that maybe the normal entrepreneur wouldn't get to access.
I think to that point, what I'm trying to manage from an expectation standpoint to people that would look at this episode and think like, hey, how can I engage with that, is, what the user experience might be like, when you can imagine I get asked to be a mentor with some frequency, and likewise, I'm usually willing, but it's more of a practical reality. Do I have the capacity to do
Sure.
that? That can be an intimidating request if you take it seriously. Maybe you can share how we try to make interaction with it as simple as possible. The anonymity can also be a concern for some folks too, functioning as a mentor. What can you share with us on that?
One of the advantages of RareWire and the company we started is we've invented a platform that allows us to build very robust apps without having to be a hardcore programmer writing a bunch of code. And so to that end, it gave us the ability to do some really cool things on this app. And one of those things is the ability to allow the app to create and manage user profiles and regulate who has access to what and restrict access and things like that. And so to your point, one of the features of the app is you can you can choose the topics that you like, that you want to participate in and follow and ask questions to. You can choose the mentors that you might want to follow. And then if you decide to communicate with those mentors, you have the option to post that question publicly for all the world to see, or keep it private between just you and the mentor. So all that functionality and infrastructure is built into the app.
And what platforms are we supporting?
It'll be for the iPad and iOS devices and Android devices.
And we are good to go, so to speak?
We are. I think we're testing the last version, and the app is already out there in the Apple Store, and finalizing the Android build and getting ready to submit that as well.
How about a little demo of the BrainPickr?
Sure. So I know you and I have seen this before, but it's you guys provided us with some great content to create a great look and feel. So one of the first things that comes up obviously I already have an account, but it allows you to create a user profile. So as you can see, I can go in here and I can pick the different topics that I want to follow of culture and hire. I picked a few like culture and hiring, product development, equity, fundraising, sales and marketing, things like that. I can put my contact information, my own picture profile in here, things like that. And as I start asking questions and tracking things, it'll keep a tally of what I'm involved in. If I go to the community section, then that's kind of where it shows me all the content, all the mentors that are out there, the questions that have been asked that are available for the public, or the private questions that I may have been asked or had asked a mentor, things like that. So it's just a simple, clean user interface with navigation to very easily go in and follow. So you'll see here the culture and hiring section. And if I click on that, then it's going to pull in the content. So you'll see that Nate Olson has commented on this topic and the feedback that Michael Lucan had provided about team cultures and organizations. There's a green check that says he's answered the question, things like that. It shows how many questions have been asked in this category. So it's a very simple and clean navigation that lets a user go in and navigate the app. There's a search capability, so if I type in a word here, then it's going to ideally let me navigate that. So I typed in the word patent. Turns out there was a question posted by Annette regarding patents. So as we start providing content and mentors to this app that are posting more and more content and answers, that it's going to be a very robust tool that will be a good resource for entrepreneurs to kind of search a knowledge base and have access to good content. There's an activity section, so as I start playing with this and asking questions, it would track my activity, so on and so forth. It's dynamic, so it works in portrait or landscape. It runs on the Android device as well. It runs on the phone device as well. So hopefully that's a good overview of what the app is going to be. It's one of those apps that the user interface is very simple and clean and easy to use, and it's all about the great content that's going to be in it.
So Kirk, why don't you share a little bit with me, about RareWire? What do you guys do, and how did you come into existence?
We are a software company that is located here in Kansas City, Missouri. We launched our company in January 2011, and we invented a new software platform that makes it easier to build apps. Building apps is hard. Typically, if you want to build complex apps like BrainPickr and others, you got to be a programmer writing some complex programming language. And then if you want to build it on Apple devices and Android devices, you have to build two different versions of it. One for the iOS operating system and one for the Android operating system. So it's complicated. And so we thought we could solve that, and we have. We invented a platform that includes its own, what I would describe as an app description language called Wire. And it allows you to build those same really robust apps on our platform and publish to both operating systems.
But I don't have to be, a deep dive coder to do that.
You don't. That is probably the single biggest value proposition that we provide is we enable you to build those same complex apps without having to be that programmer. The language that we invented is XML based, and so it requires a skill set of a website guy, a front-end developer, a graphic artist. Some of the top app builders that we hire have never even built a website.
Really?
But we love hiring graphic artists because it's tough to teach those artistic skills,
right,
but it's easy to learn our language. And so after working at RareWire a week or two, they're doing some incredible things.
Now, how robust is the tool set? And specifically, you had said web dev or front end. So that to me implies I probably should have some UI experience, some user interface experience, and understanding good GUI, and some background there.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a tough question. And the better you are at that, the better the app is going to be. If you don't have those skills, you can still build an app and you might learn from your mistakes. But our platform,
might be fugly, but it'll work.
The platform gives you the ability to do that without. So we've taught a lot of classes in the community on building apps and had teenagers in the class, taking the class and learning it. So if it's someone that has a little familiarity with HTML, they can figure it out pretty easy. And even people that don't, we've had one of our vice president of sales, his wife signed up and had never done anything, never built a website. Now she's a very sharp person, but she has done some incredible stuff and went and built a yearbook app for her local school out in Lee Summit. It was incredible. And so it's powerful.
Speaking of incredible stuff, what would you say are some of the most popular apps that were developed on your platform that I don't know, maybe some of the viewers at top of mind might have on their, on their smart device right now without even knowing it's a RareWire app?
Probably the number one app as far as popularity is the app for Forever 21. Are you familiar with that?
No.
It's a retail clothing store for teenage girls.
Wow, I am relieved that I didn't know the answer then. Because that would have said more about me than I would have cared to if I knew.
Almost 2 million downloads.
Really?
It's crazy. And so we were very fortunate enough to get the chance to work with them. But then we've worked with companies like CA Technologies and West Point we've had a lot of success here locally in Kansas City working with companies like Boulevard Brewery and SMG and VML and Cerner and Perceptive Software and on and on and on. And Kauffman Foundation, obviously, we're very excited to get a chance to work with you guys on that. So it's a very strong tool, and we are very proud of it. We think we have something special. It's just the battle as an entrepreneur for us is to get the word out there, because we typically have good success if people give it a try.
Where do you see the growth trajectory, for RareWire as a company? Where do you want to be? And I'm not going to ask you the really stupid question of 5 years out, but let's say 2 years out. Where do you want to see this going?
We are in our third year of business, and we've tripled our revenue every year. And we're continuing on that pace. So it's been an incredible whirlwind of a few years, and we're excited about it. And we're fortunate enough to start a company in the single hottest space out there, which is mobile. I believe that the opportunity is there for us to become one of the key platforms out there that everyone uses. So companies like VML is a big partner of ours, and it's a global ad agency and is now starting to use our platform to build apps themselves for their clients. Mm-hmm. So the ad agency world is a huge opportunity, but really anyone out there in corporate marketing departments who are thinking about building an app for their company or their enterprise or their church or their little league, it's a solution. It's a great tool to help them accomplish that. So I think with some good fortune that we could become a key player, and I think we already have. We just got to keep growing it. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, I'll give you the unsolicited testimonial. As a client, you've been a really good vendor partner to work with on this, and we share the vision and ambition to see our little project here with BrainPickr really have great success. And thank you for helping us in that journey.
Well, I appreciate it. You guys have been a tremendous help to me as a resource, as an entrepreneur. I'm very active in a lot of the events that you guys put out there in the community. I've taught a lot of classes here that you guys have supported and hosted, so we're grateful for the opportunity to get a chance to work with you guys.
Thanks. So hopefully this app will be yet another tool to bring mentors and entrepreneurs together around the common goal of building great companies. And if you think you can help out by being a mentor, please go to entrepreneurship.org/BrainPickr, where you can apply to be a mentor. And if you're looking for the app, you can find it in the App Store, and it's coming to Android soon.